All right, so I am one step closer to getting a full Simagic setup, courtesy of the guys over at SimHQ, and it's been a good time. They even sent me some sweet merch. Look at this. Huh? Look at it. So today's upgrade just came in the mail, and it is the P1000s. I also have the inversion kit, but I'm gonna put these on the rig first, and I'm gonna race on them for a few days just to see if I can tell the difference between them and these wonderful fellas. So I did have the Heusinkfeld Sprints on my rig, so I'm excited to see what these feel like compared, because Heusinkfeld Sprints are pretty top notch. I don't consider myself a super fast or competitive racer, so I'm likely to enjoy the P1000s just as much as the Heusinkfeld Sprints, but I'll still try to give an honest opinion on what I feel the differences are. And like I said, later this week I will install the inversion kit and film that as well. That's where I want to end up, but I do want to see if I can tell the difference between the Heusinkfelds and the Simagic right off the bat. So we'll get into that. So as you might have already seen over here to the side, I also already had the Simagic TBRS handbrake, and I'm not going to make a full video on it. You just know that you probably shouldn't touch it. It's my handbrake, it's not yours. Keep your hands off. I actually made a video about it.
I got a new handbrake, yeah, it's totally sick. I'm about to power slide up in this place and steal your chick with aluminum construction and a hydraulic. I'ma live my life sideways, yeah, I never quit. Hey, do you mind if I try out the new handbrake? If you touch my handbrake, I'ma break your hands. You never touch the handbrake of another man. If you touch my handbrake, then I'll break your hands. Let's see you drive your SimRig with some broken hands.
One thing I like is I like Simagic's branding. The way boxes look, I think it looks really nice.
Class-leading performance. Drive it. Feel the realism.
Endless combinations, limitless experience, lots of springs and nuts and bolts and T-nuts and all the things that you would expect. Oh Lord. Yeah, that looks like a lot. Oh no, I kicked my camera. Dang it. Sorry, I kicked my camera if it moved. Don't be mad at me. So this I'm excited for. The Heusinkfelds actually came with no heel plate, and I ended up using my Fanatec one. So even though it's just cosmetic, I do like the cohesive look of everything being pretty and the same. Probably not the most professional setup, the fact that I like watch myself on this monitor while I show you stuff on the edge, whatever. Also, I burnt my hand and I'm wearing a narwhal band-aid. And look at the Christmas lights behind that. That's a pretty shot, look at that. Neat. They packed the cutest little box in here. What is it? It's a box of rubbers. Not what I expected. I was like, man, Simagic stuff is that good? Okay, moving on. Look at them, they're beautiful.
Oh, they smell like cardboard.
Not much assembly required, look at this. For the most part, this looks pretty ready to go and pretty easy.
The clutch? Oh, nice.
Ooh, I know load cells are tough, but give me a break. So they come pre-mounted, which is great, and honestly, this is probably the distance that I'll use them apart. I'm not too particular, but who knows, maybe I'll make some small adjustments, and then when we invert them, obviously, we'll have to do some pedal flipping because it just won't match up. Look at this nice organized pedal controller down here. I dig that. No joke, I'm running out of room for boxes in my attic, which is a good problem. I gotta figure my stuff out. I need a new house, and I don't have the money for that, so. So I'm gonna turn on some Coheed and Cambria and just jam out and get these pedals on here, because if you have an aluminum profile, you know that I'm probably looking at a long job. So I'll just do a time lapse and let's have a good time. What you're witnessing right now is me being defeated. It's finally happened. I knew this would happen someday. The pedals are a little bit deeper than the Heusinkfelds, and I'm kind of in a tight space here. I'm gonna show you. All right, so let's just observe how I'm sitting for a second. This is as far back. Oh, actually. I'll let you know that this is as far back as my seat goes, and the pedals right now are not mounted yet. They're literally just sitting against the wall. So they're butted up against the wall, if you can see that. What that means is that I can't push the clutch in because it has a bar that comes out the back. Look at this. That thing will punch a hole in my wall. So at least has to be an inch away from the wall. So if it's an inch away from the wall, like that, when it's mounted, now my knees are like against the wheel. I've been waiting for this day to happen. We're exploring my house for a minute. This little area here is the only spot in my house for this SimRig to go. So the only thing to make this work is the PC can no longer live there, which sucks. If the PC is moved, I could back the SimRig up about 10 inches. Oh boy, look at me. I always knew this day was coming. I knew that someday the SimRig would outgrow the room, especially with triples. I can't do triples at all in this room ever. So I'm about to, I need some light. Damn it, everything's, you're on a stick. My light's falling. Okay. If you have an aluminum profile, you know how much this crap weighs. Oh no, oh no. Another problem. My monitor mount is very peculiar. It is at its max length. It's not mounted to the rig. So that means when I slide my rig that way, I will end up 6 more inches away from my monitor. Oh, snowball effect. If you have an aluminum profile, you're gonna feel for me right now. The whole seat mount itself needs to come back to the end of the profile, which also means that my vertical mounts right here, these guys also have to come back. And that is a lot of adjustments. In fact, it's a very big job. So I guess I better get started on that. I'm gonna consult Discord. That's what I'm gonna do.
Like your seat should almost hit the
hang on, that's a really good point. That even if you do adjust the seat right now, then you are actually recreating and in a meaningful way that you're further away from the monitor. So
you're right.
So,
You're gonna monitor, stand, and move your seat.
Well,
yeah.
And just go out to the money tree and fucking pick out some money.
Right. All right, with what feels like 2 hours later, I had the seat off. The Christmas lights are attached to the seat, and that was a problem. A long talk in Discord with the guys to get their opinions. The posts have officially been moved 4 or 5 inches this way, as well as the entire seat bracket has been moved 4 or 5 inches this way. I also missed a comedy gold moment. I should have filmed the moment when I was like sitting in the middle of the rig and everything was all over the room. I'm gonna regret saying this, but I feel like I'm on the home stretch. But overall, this is something that's needed to happen for a long time. I am way more comfortable now sitting here, just with distance to pedals for my legs. It's been like all day. Is it finally time to race? I think so. So here we are. I am in the Lamborghini Huracan, something Trofeo, Super Trofeo or something. And we're gonna try out these pedals for the first time. I calibrated them in the SimPro software. So the throttle maybe could be a little bit more stiff for me, and I believe there's springs for that, but I might end up doing some adjustments to that brake pedal because I do like a little bit of travel. It feels like I'm pushing against a rock wall right now. All right, let's see in the heavy braking zone at the bottom of the straight. I do like the throttle though. Like I said, maybe a little bit more tension for me on that throttle. It'd be nice if there was a little bit more to push in. I'm also getting used to my monitor being 5 more inches away from me, which is not really ideal. It does feel good though. I think if I put in a couple laps, I think it would all probably feel really good. All right, let's hit that like right here. Maybe a little too much. Just a little over a lap in right now. I'm starting to get a good feel for the brake. But like I said, I would just like there to be some sponginess, so we're gonna figure that out for sure. I'm actually starting to like the throttle. I feel like I'm really able to control it on my exits as I let this car rev into the stratosphere. Oh God, no. Oh, that's not good. Okay. All right, it's... That was the most pitiful noise I've ever heard a car make. So my initial first impressions of the P1000s, they are very similar to the Houston Felds. I think, especially after I get this brake a little more spongy, I think that's just how I had my, my load cell on the Sprints. I think they're gonna be very similar. I would like to get a little bit more tension on this gas pedal, but I'm gonna take the next few days off camera just to race with friends, maybe stream whatever I end up doing, and then come back, give another impression before we invert the pedals and hang them from the roof. So, yeah. Do I look dope as hell in my sim racing gloves? I think they look pretty fancy. Anyway, I'll see you later. All right, so it's been about a week and a half since I last filmed that, but on day 4, I inverted the pedals. Now, my impressions before the inversion were I got them very similar to my Houston Felds. I mean, almost identical. So for the brake, I removed 2 red rubbers and 1 blue rubber and just replaced them with the black rubbers. That made like the perfect density for me. I also mentioned that I wanted the throttle to be a little bit more dense. I did manage to make that happen by just turning the lug nuts on the back and extending it out a bit, and that gave me a little bit more pressure. And last, for the clutch, I ended up putting the yellow spring in, which is a little bit more tough than the standard spring that was on there. So with a little bit of adjusting, I got the P1000s to be just how I wanted. And since then, I've done a lot of time trialing on AMS2 against friends, and I've gotten considerably faster. One, my monitor is much closer, which you're about to see why. Man, I've had a rough few days. Let me tell you, the P1000 should not be hard to mount for you. I'm in a very special circumstance in this little room, and it finally caught up. Thought what you saw before was painful. Well, then I had to do it once more whenever I did the inversion. I had to redo the whole rig again, and I even lost a desk. And I decided, for some goofy reason, I decided to live stream that struggle. I have absolutely no ass, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Flat as a board. I am not thrilled about this. I am out of space for a SimRig. I have no more. You can guarantee stream's about to go down. So far, so good. Fucking. Here, and it is dinner time. I need to feed my child. That's an obligation I have by the state. She has a social security number. So I suppose that's it. Now, my thoughts on the inversion. For the most part, I feel like the inversion was just for the immersiveness of sitting in a car. I know that some race cars, you know, throttles on the bottom and things like that. But in relation to our day-to-day vehicles, that's the whole reason for the inversion kit. To me, I much more enjoy the way you push the pedals when they're like this. I would say that I've gotten faster since, but I've also been putting in a lot of time. It's always hard to be like, did I improve because of the equipment, or did I improve just because I've been playing a lot? And I think that's more the case. But for me, yeah, the inversion kit was more for immersion. Inversion, immersion. Inversion, immersion, inversion, immersion. I'll be interested to see that on replay. Ooh. We're starting to close in on that traffic in front, which is great.
What are you? Why?
A couple things I really liked about the inversion kit is how clean it came out. It came with cover plates for the electronics because the pedals are upside down. There's lots of adjustments for the pedals and things like that on the box. Overall, the box itself looks really, really nice. The heel plate feels good where it's at. So one thing that I think has improved my driving and my lap times is actually that this throttle is so controllable from like the 100% to like the 70% mark. I feel like I have so much control because my heel is actually on a stopper. And something about pushing the pedals straight back is more satisfying to me than having them hinged from the bottom, if that makes any sense. The last thing is that heel toe is incredibly hard with the way this is set up, because if I'm pushing on this brake right where it's at, it's very easy to heel this heel stopper, and it does its job, and it really hurts. So the only way around this is if I go to the top of the brake, which is hard to push in socks, so maybe I should get me something grippy, but top of the plate, and then you can kind of blip this throttle. I need the longer throttle pedal is what I think needs to happen. But overall, super excited about the inverted, and this has definitely made my racing experience more immersive. We're dancing. Just one thing that I don't really think is a big deal, but these little pins right here, they do rattle a bit on every pedal. Whenever you let off, there is a bit of a rattle. If that bothers you, I'm sure you could find a way to cushion those pins a little bit, like with a piece of tape, and it would stop that. So if I was starting over and had to use my money, and I was looking at the P1000s or the Heusenfelds, I think the obvious choice for me would be the P1000s, reason being that for $600, you can get the 3-pedal set with the inversion kit, and it comes with a heel plate for the same price that you get the 3 Heusenfelds just by themselves with no heel plate. So to me, that's a no-brainer. I can't feel enough of a difference to justify the product difference there, but if you can, let me know in the comments, because you know, I'm your average Joe sim racer. I'm not a pro. But that's all I got, so I'll see you next time.